What's up, YouTube? Y'all know who I be. I'm Savage World. Shout out to my co-host / my brother, Slimmy. True Boy Slimmy for those who do know. With that being said, we got a new reaction video today. I've been running across lately, I can say today I ran across a couple of janks actually. You know, I found out Yellow Breezer has been indicted for a murder. And then Big U. Man, it's like they just, man, I don't know what's going on. Like, we've been in the water because shit just been crazy. When I mean crazy, I'm talking crazy because it been indictment, Rico, from Lil Durks, like it's just been going literally around. But with that being said, we will see what they're talking about because I guess they're trying to tie Big U to a lot of things. You know, from extortion, murder, robbers, kidnapping, if I'm not mistaken. All type of stuff. You know, they're trying to say that Big U tied into. And shout out to TheFAMILYTV. Because I ran across a clip that he got that he pretty much, you know, I'm assuming he going to where he's talking about it. But y'all know it go, I always do it. Sometimes anyway. I appreciate everybody watching.
Poppin' shit.
Podcaster.
You know.
With that being said, you know you got one. Be a little minute. About a 20 minute, 24. No longer 25. But with that being said, kick back. Let's start the show. With that being said, let's go.
Nobody wins when the family feels.
Can't tell DNA. He wouldn't give them his DNA, so they had to serve him the search warrant to get his DNA.
Get out, and then they have to have an experience before they realize I should have checked in.
Yeah.
What was that breathing like that? Although y'all heard, but like that died.
The acting United States Attorney here in Los Angeles. Today, we're here to announce federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., a career criminal known as Big U, who used his contacts and leadership role in the Crips criminal street gang, the entertainment industry, and a youth charity to further his own criminal enterprise. An enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, robbery, human trafficking, COVID fraud, and other felonies. Mr. Henley and several other individuals linked to him and his criminal enterprise were charged in a criminal complaint with federal racketeering conspiracy. Mr. Henley is a fugitive and he is currently wanted by federal law enforcement. Other individuals linked to his criminal enterprise were arrested today, approximately 10 defendants who are charged in various indictments. Again, Mr. Henley is a fugitive. 4 defendants are in state custody and will be transferred into federal custody. And we are still seeking Mr. Henley and another fugitive.
Another RICO had just took place that had prominent figures in that indictment. This time we're going to law.
So what I'm assuming they're saying is that Big U is on the run. I'm assuming. Like I said, I'm just catching up onto it. So that would have sounded like it could have been Big U on the run and a couple more other people. But yeah, we'll see what they're talking about. I mean, we got a little minute now, y'all. Just sit back, chill with me, earbuds in, cut it out, roll that thing up, you know.
Imagine this, family. When we talk about the Rolling 60s Crips, a gang that was well known for people like Big U, a man that's also in this indictment. Also associated with this gang was the late rapper, may he rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. Big U always has some form of talks surrounding his demise. Who put the hit out? Who was in control? Is it still real leadership that someone in your own gang, who's not technically the boss, take out such prominent figure in Nipsey Hussle? Also in this indictment is a man who recently made his waves in podcasting on No Jumper. A man who'll go by the name of Brick Baby, alongside 18 other defendants. Today we go over this story. With so much speculation throughout the years, we finally have confirmation in black and white. Recently, the feds had listed a number of events: extortion, politicking, and the damaging of them all. Murder. The murder of a high school standout football player who was the best friend of Big U's son. He was also a rapper, and according to the feds, he made a diss song which we'll later discuss. And after making that diss song, which seems to aim at Big U, that man was found deceased, gone in the middle of the highway. Now, what makes this story even more crazier, this was brought up about 6 days ago by WAC 100, a man who allegedly is a leader of the Bloods gang.
A high school
friends with Big U, but lately they turned enemies. And I found it ironic that Big U get indicted just 6 days later, which some people thought was just mere speculation. Today we go over this indictment, talk about each count, go over the events that's listed in this indictment, and see where they stand today. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Fam, meet Eugene Big U Henley, a Crips leader who helped launch Nipsey Hussle's career and was dubbed rap's godfather by people like Wiz.
I ain't ready to stop it, but I had to stop it. But yeah, you finna tell me somebody made a song about Big U and we ain't talk about like no older person. It's a young person, teen, high school, you know. But yeah, and damn, ain't no Big U headed like that. Guess I'm finding out.
He recently has been accused of murder, kidnapping, robbery, extortion, fraud by federal authorities. As part of Big U's purported grip on Los Angeles, his alleged victims were required to check in with Henley before arriving in the city in order to obtain
check in.
According to the 107-page federal complaint unveiled today, among those Big U allegedly extorted were professional athletes and musicians. The complaint said whose business interests were not always legitimate. Federal authorities likened Big U enterprise to a, quote, mafia-like organization, end quote, that relies on his stature and long-standing associates with the Rolling 60s and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in their land.
That's crazy. I heard he was
in a press conference, which we'll later check out, that Big U is a fugitive. Federal authorities have accused Big U of kidnapping and fatally shooting a young rapper in the face and leaving his body in the Las Vegas desert over perceived disrespect, which we'll later discuss in further details. According to the indictment, in directing the robbery of an unlicensed LA marijuana dispensary that had stopped making extortion payments. This was 107 pages, fam. But Big U also allegedly defrauded companies, donors, athletes, and celebrities, including professional basketball player Draymond Green and former NBA MVP Shaquille O'Neal, persuading.
So, Big U, man, it's crazy because like, you don't get me wrong. I guess you can tell he gangster. He gangster. He bought that life. Hey, don't mention him. Don't diss him. None of that. I guess he affiliated. You can see he connected. You feel me? At the same time, all he scamming them out their money, man. That he was scamming niggas, man. And that's like. Then when you get like names like they say names like that, I'm pretty sure like a Draymond Green, he could donate 50,000. Wow, ain't nothing. You hear me? Maybe 100,000. Wow, ain't nothing. You hear me? So it's like, man, you.
To donate to his charities and later alleging transferring the money to his own personal bank account.
See?
Authorities also have accused Big U to fraudulently obtaining funding from the Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program overseen by the LA's mayor's office.
That's
and
crazy.
A backstory on Big U. He previously served 13 years in prison after trying to rob an undercover sheriff's deputy of 33 pounds of cocaine in 1991. His son is a linebacker for the Los Angeles Chargers.
This weekend, and one former WSU Cougar was lucky enough to hear his name called in the third round.
Crime 2's Andrew Quinn sat down with Dayon Henley to discuss his big day.
Well, it's the call every football player longs to hear, and it came on day 2 of the
his son in the NFL too?
NFL draft for Dayon Henley, and it just so happened to be from one of his hometown teams.
I'm a Charger.
Just to be home and be able to be in my city and be a Charger is probably the greatest feeling. Something I couldn't even imagine.
The Los Angeles Chargers drafted Henley with the 85th overall pick in the 3rd round. It may have been a longer wait than Henley expected for the call, but he is keeping it all in perspective.
I was a 2-star recruit out of high school. I have a position. I redshirted as a junior in college. It's not normal. So to go to the 3rd is a blessing. If I was to go undrafted, if I was to slide to the 7th, would people fail to realize this? I would still be going to the NFL. So I'm beyond blessed and grateful for the situation and where I am.
Henley shined as a senior at WSU, finishing 2nd in the Pac-12 in tackles and becoming a finalist for the Dick Butkus Award. He credits the WSU coaching staff for preparing him so well for the NFL.
I spent a lot of time in that film room, a lot of time with my coaches talking and having extra conversations. Coach Dickert, asking him a million questions because I knew that he had knowledge upon my position and just eating off of those with greater knowledge than I have in the sport that I love.
Henley now joins a defense filled with longtime NFL stars, and he hopes to soak up even more knowledge to help improve his game.
Shout out Spurt Bob. I'm trying to be the biggest bud above ocean level and take in with anything I can, you know. I just aspire to be like the guys that I'm going to be around, and I want to be accepted in as a key role player eventually. And I know nothing is given, so I want to earn that, of course.
Henley will wear number 0 in LA, and when I asked Dayon why number 0, he said, "I'm the first Charger to ever wear that number, and I'm thinking of making a statement and starting my career by doing something no one has ever done before. The Ranger is already standing out in his early NFL."
Also, according to this indictment, Big U, alleged right-hand man, Sylvester Robinson, and trustee Lieutenant Mark Martin are accused of violating the RICO Act. Now, authorities also have charged Tremaine Williams, a.k.a. Lucci Cannon.
Told you, it's like the RICO been going around to everybody.
With transporting an individual to engage in prostitution, and
Damn.
Frederick Blayton Jr. and Tiffany Hayes with bank fraud. All of them are in custody, except Big U. And an affidavit filed with the criminal complaint.
Oh,
Andrew
shit.
Ross,
They got,
a special agent
Blick
of the
Baby,
FBI,
too.
said members and associates of the Big U enterprise used Big U's and the group's history and reputation to, quote, control, end quote, Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. Now, that's funny because Big U once did an interview on $1 Million Worth of Game with Wallow and Gilly. And he spoke about how he handled disputes or problems within his own camp. Also on this show, or on this episode rather, was Rock 100. Check out about 60 seconds.
But let me tell you, she tell a nigga, you know, I don't even think it was for the rest of the table to hear, but she tell a nigga on some deep shit. She said, "Yeah, nigga, cause you getting soft."
What?
And he said, "Hey,
So let me tell you.
no, hold on." He said, "No, hold on, Let God tell the story. Let God tell the story." But so you know,
It was more to the story.
Yeah, Wallow, their show be. I like their show too, their podcast they do.
Right at me,
They interview people.
Nigga getting soft. So now he gotta say, now he gotta speak up. No. See, what I tell you about, I ain't getting so. One of my homies was at the house, and he did something she ain't like. She wanted me to break the nigga arm, and I ain't break the nigga. Yeah, she looked at him and said, listen, she looked at him and said, yeah, you should have broke his fucking arm.
She let me in, I go to sleep. Now catch this analogy. You remember how you called me about Lil Youngster, Arnold family? We did some fuck shit? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so you could have cut his head off? Yeah. Or cut an ear off? Stacy was like, you should have cut the nigga ear off. Or you should have did something to it.
Broke the nigga arm.
Down. The only difference is the reason why a woman doesn't rule a nation, reason why a woman shouldn't rule a nation, because she will rule with emotion. And a man won't. Because I understand. Sometimes if I do something, let me explain it to you.
But you acted off emotion. You just beat on
whoever it was with one like I didn't want me, because I could have lost more by being physical with one of the little homies who did something wrong. Or I could have let that go and let everybody else see that I show mercy sometime. And her mind is, no, cut his ear off. You should have cut his ear, you should have got something. But every time you don't use Brian.
So it's safe to say that it was growth involved.
It was growth. She was like, no, you getting soft. She like, you should have And I'm like, no. But look
But
at what
then we don't do it that way.
Never had another problem since then. Still doing everything he's
But hold on, though, bro. If we don't do it that way, and we take and count, then they telling us we should make better decisions.
And we being too mean. You know, I learned from youngsters. Let me tell you something. I had a situation having one of my homeboys. He didn't pay a debt. And he didn't do something. And I called one of my other homies and said, look, bring him to me. So when he got to me, but before he got to my other homie said, you like Pops, you know, he like, Like, man, you have me scared in the world because we can't make one mistake. And so ever since my little homeboy said that to me, and he was basically talking for sympathy for somebody else. He wasn't even the one who was on the table. But he made me realize, like, okay, you can't just be bronze all the way. And I hate to give a story about one of my close friends.
Well, here go the problem.
From Main Street.
But you know what the problem was, right? With that.
Let me give you one more story.
Here go the problem,
Dale Dog.
Now, the feds claimed that the Big U enterprise was a front for promoting himself as a reformed gang member focused on bettering the community. But now you got a pretty good idea on who Big U is, well, at least according to the public. Let's talk about the details in this paperwork, starting with the Las Vegas Klled. Fam, meet Rayshawn Williams. He was a wide receiver for Crenshaw High. He lived with Big U because he was the best friend to Big U's son, who now played for the Chargers. 5 days before his demise in January of 2021, Rayshawn Williams recorded a diss song. In his affidavit, the agent said he believed that Williams' diss song was about Big U, whose independent record label, Unique Music, was representing the 21-year-old rapper. Now, it's unclear whether Big U heard diss lyrics prior to the killing, according to the complaint. In the diss song, Williams referred to Big U as the, quote, bro that makes some money, end quote. Now, Williams rapped himself that he might get himself shot in the face for thinking shit funny. He mentioned a .38 revolver with no trace. Now, 5 days later after that diss song, Las Vegas police found Williams' body in a ditch near a landfill on January 25th, 2021.
That's crazy, man.
Love and condolences to his family.
Yeah, another young person with a bright future.
Shell cases. According to the affidavit, Unique Music paid to fly Williams from California to Las Vegas in January 2021 and put him up in an Airbnb. His family said Big U had coached the young rapper in football since he was young. Williams was supposed to spend a week at the recording studio and record a song a day, but he missed some days. When Williams didn't show up to the studio on January 23rd, 2021, investigators said Big U and Robinson drove from LA to Las Vegas to confront him. A friend of Williams, identified only as CA, recounted that Big U arrived at the Airbnb around 2 a.m. on January 24th, 2021. Big U asked why Williams hadn't shown up to the studio. CA told the authorities Williams claimed he didn't have a ride. Quote, I believe Williams wasting the time, thereby disparaging Big U name and the Big U enterprise reputation, and potentially flaunting that disrespect with the lyrics of the diss song led to a dispute, according to the feds. But nonetheless, they headed to the studio. Big U arrived at the studio about 7 p.m. Williams arrived a couple hours after and recorded until midnight. Witnesses told authorities about 12:30 a.m., Big U left the studio. The dark gray Lexus that he and Robinson had driven to the studio was no longer there. According to the feds, shortly before 1 a.m., Big U phone stopped reporting locations data. It didn't start again until about 2:15 a.m. Surveillance footage at the Airbnb where Williams was staying captured a dark gray and silver sedan, arriving about 1:13 a.m. According to the complaint, Williams got out of the passenger side of the car, went inside, and returned a few minutes later with a suitcase. Despite the fact that the Airbnb was rented for another day and he was not set to leave on a flight until the following day. Around 3 a.m., a witness said Big U returned to the studio alone. The witness said Big U appeared to be drenched in either sweat or water. Now at this point you figure Big U know exactly who this witness is, because according to the feds, Big U told the witness he was coming back from the gym, according to the complaint. Hours later, on January 25th, 2021, at around 9 a.m., Williams' body was found in a ditch. He had died of multiple gunshot wounds. He was shot in the face. Authorities compared DNA collected from Williams' body to Big U's DNA profile. The result was inconclusive. but Big U, quote, could not be excluded, end quote, as a suspect according to the complaint. Also documented in the complaint following the homicide, Big U allegedly arranged for recording equipment from the studio to be removed and surveillance video to be destroyed. The feds wrote that they believed the footage would have shown an altercation between Big U and Williams the night of the killing, and at minimum, Big U and Williams leaving the studio together shortly before Williams' murder. A month after Williams' death, the FBI LA Metropolitan Task Force on Violent Gangs launched an investigation into Big U Enterprise and its association with the Rolling 60s. Now, in this indictment, it also pointed out that Big U is considered an original gangster, an OG. Big U is an admitted member and
I gotta go this far and say, to a extent, you gotta say yeah. To a extent, for it to be as an age, you gotta know better. I mean, because at the end of the day, why would you, like they say, they say a car, the great car, which could be anybody, don't get me wrong. I mean, shit, I mean, they ain't the only great car they made in the world. You feel what I'm saying? It's understandable. Then, like they say, first of all, for him to be the one who be the actual person who go do it, just more crazy. You see what I'm saying? And then it's more crazy because you can't send people. People snitching. Eventually, it come out. You know? So, like, you know, they always say the best crime is for you to do it yourself because you ain't going to tell on yourself. But I guess that depends on what situation you're in, too, also. Because it's like, hey, man, God dang. I ain't gonna say hide yourself, but I guess when you're in a different situation in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta try to find a way of moving around. Not hide yourself in certain circles, I would say. It's crazy. Let's continue, though.
Gangster or OG of the Rolling 60s as someone who, quote, widely regarded as a leader, end quote, within the game. And this is where they do the check-ins. But before we do that, listen to what Big U have to say in regards to what checking in means. Check it out.
The youngsters get out and then they have to have an experience before they realize I should have checked in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or I should have called, or I should have been doing it a certain way. And so they get out and they might be under your banner, but then they not respecting the banner. They ain't calling you. They got your number, they know who you is, but they feel like they bigger than the program. You know, you got a lot of dudes, like when I was here last time, that claim my neighborhood to sing this music shit, but they don't really fuck with us until it's a problem. Then they call them. Like Quando Rondo. I just showed Envy. Like, you can't call me now. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't fuck with me before that. You know what I mean? You had my number, you could have called me, you could have did all that. You know what I mean? But he's around about, but how does that feel to me?
So now you know how Big U feel. In 2022, according to the feds, he interviewed and witnessed.
That's how, like I say, you can tell he connected.
Cooperating witness one, who claimed that rap artists, athletes, and other visitors needed to pay Big U a fee when they came to the city. CW1 told authorities about a large bag dice game in LA in June 2019. The game involved a professional boxer, identified only as AB, AB's associates, and several prominent NBA players. According to CW1, AB and his associates fixed the game, cheating the NBA players out of millions of dollars using T's dice. After the game, according to the feds, Big U directed his associates to rough up AB, who had not checked in with Big U, and to get the money back from him on behalf of the cheated NBA players. Multiple members of the Rolling 60s allegedly arrived and were used to press AB. Big U stepped in. CW1 told authorities, quote, because he was involved in and/or would approve of any dice games or similar events, such as parties involving large sums of money and prominent NBA players and celebrities, end quote, in the city. According to the complaint, CW1 knew other times in which NBA players or celebrities would need to get approval in advance from Big U to ensure their safeties at events such as parties, games, or advertising shoots. CW1 said the celebrities would have to pay Big U for protection and approval or face retaliation from Big U Enterprise. In a monitored meeting between Big U and someone identified only as Victim 1, Big U recounted that he got into it with AB after AB cheated a current NBA All-Star out of $1.5 million and a former NBA All-Star out of $5 million. Big U also talked about charging the players $100,000 to get their money back. In a podcast Big U hosted called Checking In that was on World Star Hip Hop, he said every city he goes to, he quote, I check in with somebody, end quote. But he has denied charging fees for those coming to LA, quote, I never made no athlete, no rapper give me nothing, end quote. Big U said in an interview with Genius, a digital media company, they reach out to me because they feel a connection to me in my neighborhood for whatever that reason. Now the next segment in this complaint will be titled How to Rob Yourself. The complaint laid out various robberies allegedly carried by Big U Enterprise, including one at an unlicensed marijuana dispensary in LA on June 5th, 2021. In that case, the victim told authorities he'd been paying Enterprise up to $25,000 per month in extortion fees. After he stopped paying, he said nearly a dozen of Big U Enterprise members and associates, along with Rolling 60 members, rushed into the dispensary armed with firearms. They were not wearing masks to obscure their identities. They allegedly stole cash and marijuana from the store before fleeing. That same day, Big U allegedly invited the victim to his home, where he laid out what had been stolen from the dispensary. Quote, that's how you rob yourself, end quote, Big U allegedly had said. The feds wrote, throughout their investigation, the FBI obtained recordings of Big U Enterprise members and associates discussing robberies that they were doing or planned to do. In one case, the feds say that he heard Big U on a wiretap planning a robbery of people who had stolen equipment from a celebrity rapper using an Apple AirTag that was with the equipment. Big U, Mitchell, and others got guns and began their stage of robbery. They called it off after spotting police arrived at the location. According to the complaint, Big U organized a birthday party at Deja Vu for himself in December of 2021. He allegedly negotiated to receive roughly 33% of the bar proceeds and promised that famous rappers, including Wiz Khalifa and T.I., would attend. The night of the birthday party, Big U, Robinson, Martin, and others associates turned up at the club. A victim told authorities he watched as Robinson, Martin, and 3 other associates took a different victim into a back room and extorted $30,000 from him. And by the way, fam, none of the promised celebrity rappers arrived, according to the complaint. Now here's the alleged fraud of the complaint. Authorities also accused Big U of fraudulently obtaining funding from the LA mayor's office through the Gang Reduction Youth Development Program. Since around 2015, according to the feds, Big U nonprofit Development Options has received $550,000 annually as part of the program. The nonprofit was allotted over $2.3 million from the city from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2023. From that, according to the feds, Big U has drawn hundreds of thousands of dollars, purportedly in salary. According to the complaint, the GRYD program, quote, has extensive mandatory handbook that is apprehended to each contract and that Development Options, like every other GRYD contractor, must comply with, end quote. Among many requirements are extensive criminal background checks, compliance, training, approval of employees, attendance at meetings, logging activities, and cooperating with local law enforcement. Fraudulently, Big U allegedly applied for federal pandemic relief loans for Development Options, Unique Music, and other businesses. Finally, authorities accused Big U of committing wire fraud by embezzling more than $100,000 in donations to Development Options. Although none of the donors were identified in the complaint, the names was confirmed by federal sources and public interviews. Among them was Draymond Green, who made a $20,000 donation to Development Options in August of 2019. Big U allegedly embezzled the entire donation, transferring the funds to his personal checking account. Another was Shaquille O'Neal, who wrote a $20,000 check intended to support Development Options at the Crenshaw Rams youth sports team. Big U allegedly transferred most of the money to his bank account. As of now, Big U is not apprehended. He faced up to 20 years for the RICO charge, but could get a life sentence. The jury has agreed to commit the murder specifically. Now, I know that was a lot, but we're talking about 105 pages, years worth of evidence. Shout out to Las Vegas Fox, the local news, $1 million worth of game, New York Times, and the Las Vegas Times. Not to mention the LA Times. Fam, this was the story of a
I mean, it just go back, it's crazy, man. Like I said, it just, it does just show, like I said, in the day, like, not from the, the bad, but the good too also, that he was trying to do, not only help people out, give people opportunities and stuff like that, but also show that, at the end of the day, he been who he was, Big U gangster, you know what I'm saying, Klled. I didn't know he was Klled, but, yeah, it just show you just, like, how people is, man, you know what I'm saying? You got people out here who do bad things but have good hearts, and, you know, so far on the difference, you know. It's just crazy because I said at the end of the day for him to, you know, be where he at, you know, and I can see that a lot of people know him. Excuse me, why they even affiliate around there? But I know everybody have their own life, so, you know, be all type of reason. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. I mean, my bad, you know, I appreciate y'all, you feel what I'm saying? Y'all know I treat y'all like family, you feel me? So, you know, we watch this together, you know. So I appreciate everybody who took their time out with me, you know, to watch this. With that being said, until next time, you know.